Hello everyone. So today we'll be seeing interview preparation questions, and today we'll be looking at the clinical research possible interview-based questions which can be asked in interview for clinical research coordinator or CRA roles. So I'll be taking some 5 questions today. Based on it, we'll have a discussion, and this is part 1 of interview-based questions for clinical research. So in this session, I'll be discussing about the 5 most important repetitive interview-based questions which are being asked in regularly in interviews. So first question is, what is GCP? So how do you define GCP? And the second question is, what is an adverse event? What is the importance of adverse event? How to define an adverse event? And the third question is, what do you say or what do you call it as adverse drug reaction? What is the difference between adverse event and adverse drug reaction? And the fourth question, which is most important and repetitive asked question, is what is a serious adverse event? And last question I'll be discussing about what is suzar, which is suspected and expected serious adverse reaction. So now without any delay, let's go into the first question. What is the GCP? Now, what is the GCP? So GCP stands for Good Clinical Practices. And these are the guidelines which are being given by your ICH, International Council for Harmonization. And these are international scientific ethical quality standards. So these are the standards which are internationally accepted, and these are ethical scientific quality standards. And the standards are being used for most important thing, which is your design and conduct and record and report the clinical trials, which include human beings. So now these are the guidelines or the standards, and these are the scientific ethical quality standards which are internationally accepted, which are being given by ICH, which are being used for either designing, conducting, recording, and reporting of clinical trials, which includes human participation. And if you follow these guidelines, if you perform the clinical trials as per this guidelines, then right, safety, and well-being of trial subjects are protected and data is accurate. Right, safety, and well-being of trial subjects are protected and data is accurate. So now in a nutshell, how do we define GCP? Is these are international scientific ethical quality standards, which are being used for designing, conducting, recording, and reporting of clinical trials. And if we conduct the clinical trial as per your GCP, then rights, safety, and well-being of trial subjects are protected and data is accurate. So this is your GCP. What is the definition which has to be spoken in your interviews? Now coming back to my next question, which is what is an adverse event? Now an adverse event, whenever the patient takes a drug, any untoward or unintended, anything which is not expected out of the patient reaction is considered as an adverse event. So if a patient is being taking a drug for a fever, only fever has to reduce. Apart from fever, anything else is coming, then it is considered as an adverse event. So now how do you theoretically and practically define an adverse event? Is an untoward medical occurrence. It can be a sign or a symptom after taking a drug by the subject, which may be or may not be, related to your study drug. So which might have a casual relationship or might not have casual relationship, then it is called as an adverse event. Now, any untoward medical occurrence within a patient who has taken one or more suspected drugs, who has been administered with the drug product or pharmaceutical product, and which does not necessarily have a causal relationship with the treatment and the adverse event. So if a drug is there, an adverse event is there, it might be or might not be related, then it is considered as an adverse event. Now, my next term is what is an adverse drug reaction? So now the word comes as drug, adverse drug reaction. So now any responses, it can be a noxious, unintended responses, which occurs at any dose, in a particular patient who has taken this drug for diagnosis or treatment or prevention, then it is called as an adverse drug reaction. Here, a word called as response means that it's a possibly related to your drug. So in a simpler words, I can explain the adverse drug reaction. So that what is an adverse drug reaction is any noxious unintended signs and symptoms which may be possibly related to drug, then it is considered as an adverse drug reaction. Now, all adverse events are not considered as your adverse drug reaction, but all adverse drug reactions are first considered as an adverse event. So now adverse event is maybe or may not be related to drug. Adverse drug reaction is possibly related to your study drug or possibly related to your investigational medicinal product. Now, what is a serious adverse event? So most importantly, that all adverse events which are occurring in the patient are not necessarily that must has to be reported expeditiously as soon as possible, but the reactions which are more in serious in nature has to be reported immediately to the regulatory bodies for further actions to be taken on that particular drug or on that particular treatment. So how this can be defined as what is serious adverse reaction? Now, what is serious adverse event? Any adverse events which is undesirable or any noxious or unintended experience associated to the use of medicinal product, which falls into 6 criteria. So theoretically, GCP says, ICH says it's 5 criteria, but one more criteria is there, which is called as other medically significant event. So which is most probably is not falling under the 5 criteria, but if it is not being treated, it goes and falls into 5 criteria. Now, the 5 criteria which are being established by GCP, ICH are any adverse event which falls under this 5 criteria. First is death. Second one is life-threatening. Third one is inpatient hospitalization, prolongation of hospitalization. Fourth is persistent disability or incapacity. Fifth is congenital anomaly. And sixth is any other medically significant event. Now, any serious adverse event, if it falls an adverse event which outcome falls into the 6 criteria, then it is considered as a serious adverse event. So in a simple words, an adverse event which falls under 6 criteria is considered as a serious adverse events. The 6 criteria are death, life-threatening, inpatient hospitalization, prolongation of hospitalization, congenital anomaly, birth defect, persistent disability or incapacity, and any other medically significant event. Here also a simple clause, all adverse events are not considered as serious adverse event, but all serious adverse event are first considered as an adverse. So now this is about your serious adverse event. Now the next most important definition, which is what is suzar. So now the suzar full form is, the first word is suspected, the second one is unexpected, and the third one is adverse reaction. So now it is related to drug and it is unexpected to the drug that we have not previously identified that this can happen, and it is one more time serious in nature. So three things together are considered as a suzar: suspected, unexpected, serious adverse reaction. Now, serious adverse reaction is a serious in nature, related to drug, and unexpected. So now 3 words together in a nutshell, then it is called as suzar. So now how do we define a suzar? Is adverse event which is serious in nature, related to drug, and unexpected, which is not previously identified, is called as a suzar. So this plays a major role in identifying the drug-related problems, which is called as suzar. So now suspected unexpected serious adverse reaction, which is untoward or unintended response to a drug, which is not listed previously, which is not posted previously in applicable product information or PIL or SMPC or drug label, which meets the following 6 criteria, which is a death, life-threatening, hospitalization, prolongation of hospitalization, congenital anomaly, birth defect, and persistent disability, any other medically significant event, and is possibly related to drug, is called as SUSAR. So suspected, unexpected, serious adverse reaction. So these are the 5 questions for interview preparations. And coming back to about the Clinosol organization plays a major role for skill development, and we are into training freshers and experienced trainings, and we are into resource consulting. So our training programs are on clinical research, CDM, pharmacovigilance, medical writing, and regulatory affairs, and also a complimentary courses are being given, and certifications also we are offering. So this is about our stats. Number of admissions are 252, placements are 141, and blogs are 260, articles are 98, and presentation are 280, and industry expert are 72, MOUs are 19, and events and competition 42, and workshops are 24. So this data is from January to December of 2023. So with this, I would like to thank all the people, and please do subscribe for Clinosol Research for further updates. I'll meet you tomorrow with 5 more interview questions. Till then, thank you so much.